Junior Witter. So we recorded a full book in July. So November, which is November next week, I'm going to be typing it. We're probably looking at about an April release. The Avoided, the clues in the name. Why now? You know, you've been retired a few years, you're kicking on for 50, pipe, slippers, paper under your arm, little whippet, all that kind of thing. But why now? Why is the time right to release your story?
The time's right because I'm at that age. I can look back now, look over my career, and have a better view of the whole thing. I remember how things were, how I saw things, and now I can look back and think, yeah, I can see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And I've got stories to tell.
Yeah.
There's things that have happened in my career where people do not know, do not understand, and I just think it's time I let people know.
Yeah, well, saying that, I mean, I've ran with a couple of paragraphs for the promotion of this with British, Commonwealth, European, and not only a world champion but a WBC, which is the best belt out of the 4 reckoning bodies. So you can't actually, I mean, I've just been speaking to Mickey Van a couple of minutes ago, and he said he done all that was asked of him, and as I've said, I think I've tagged you in a few things. You completed boxing, you know. And I listen, as an author who sat there and listened to some of the stories, without a doubt, there is going to be some eyebrows raised. But it's your exclusive biography, which has never been heard before, and I am talking about the Mayweather story. You know, when he paid extra to hold on for them extra 3 months and then went up away anyway. You know, the Ricky Hatton saga, which went on for a decade. There's so many things in your story which people are going to be like, I didn't understand that. And there's people out there, you know, oh, Ricky Hatton will beat him and all this kind of, which I get a lot and I'm like, for anyone who understands boxing, people will know that wasn't a one-sided affair. That, in actual fact, the bookies had you the favourite for that fight. It's all coming out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all coming out. Yeah, I mean, and I'm happy with telling my side of the story. Mm-hmm. I've been too quiet for too long.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been one who actually runs to get in the media spotlight. If there's a camera around and it's filming someone else, I'm like, yeah, go film them. I'm fine. I'm just going to carry on what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, it's about time I told my story. I've had many people ask me loads of different questions over the years, and most of them will be answered in the book.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way, and this will be there forever. You know, I think you've even said yourself, listen, if I had my time back again, you know, I think the word you said was, I didn't understand it then, where boxing is a business. So just because you were the British, Commonwealth, Europe, you cleared up, right, domestically, you know, probably looking back, you would have done a little, you worked a little bit harder, you know, but hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, and without doubt, the media side of it would definitely have been different.
Yeah.
What I did in the ring, I mean, was right for the time that it was there, according to what I knew.
Yeah.
According to the knowledge and information I had at the time. So, fight-wise, yeah, I mean, I'd have gone in there and they'd have done very similar things, even in hindsight. But the media around the fights, things that led up to the fights, fights that could have happened, that didn't happen, I'd have been pushing for a lot more in different ways. Mm-hmm. I'd have understood. Basically, there was no social media back when I came through.
No.
Which is a massive difference to the abilities young fighters have now, where they can sell themselves and get a national and a world audience on that. Whereas when I came through, if your promoter wasn't working with TV, you didn't get any TV airplay. And the airplay you got was subjected to what the promoter wanted people to see about you. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, you have your own chance to put your own foot forward.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, here's a fact for you. Eddie Hearn didn't promote his very first big show until the back end of 2010, which was, of course, David Hay against Audley Allison. So, 2010, your world title reign was 2006 to 2008. Devon Alexander was 2009. So that was really all wrong for you. If Eddie Hearn had come along 10 years earlier, I think things would have been different.
Things would have definitely been different. I remember all the way through my career. It's still 2000, so we're talking 13 years.
Yeah.
The main man was Frank Warren.
Yeah.
And if you weren't working with Frank, you struggled to get anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I started with Frank, then ended up leaving Frank and ended up with NSC Sports. McKenzie, good guy, loves boxing, understands the art of boxing, and really credits the European, the British, the traditional way, which is the way I went anyway. But on the same time, he didn't have the platform. I wasn't able to use the platforms he had to get his fighters the massive exposure. And if you look at the fighters he had at the time, when I started up, there was he had Tyson Fury, Huey Fury, Carl Froch, me,
Darren Barker.
So a lot of these fighters who ended up then leaving him or working with Frank on different networks or on with Eddie have become large names due to other promoters.
Yeah, I think it was kind of classed as was it the class of 2002 or something like that?
Yeah, when you look at Howard Eastman went to America, boxed Bernard Hopkins in a very close fight, which by all accounts, and I remember watching thinking, he can win this. He just didn't do enough.
Yeah.
But that's the level he was on.
Yeah.
And no one even remembers him.
Obviously I'm very aware of boxing and that, but I didn't realise to the full extent, and what I'm going to explain here. So, you fought Zab Judah, 9 days' notice, really the best light welterweight on the
pound world champion.
So, basically, Ricky Hatton was British champion 2001, maybe 2000. I think it was 2001. So you became his mandatory for that. He gave up the belt. You went British, Commonwealth, European, and in that time, Ricky Hatton is basically holding the WBU, which was a world title, but I think it was, in the greatest respect, you can win them belts of playing snakes and ladders. It wasn't really, and he was happy to do that when you domestically, and a lot of people, I've had a lot of the kind of situations where I felt like banging my head against the wall, Ricky Hatton this, Ricky Hatton that. In actual fact, the WBC, World Boxing Council, was the number one belt. So in that time, when there's the two occasions for me. There's the British one, and then he gave it up, went on a different route, sold out, massive ticket seller. You were far more interested in the glory. And then obviously you were both world champions at the same time. Ricky, so he won the IBF and the WBA, and you had the WBC. And I think actually at the same time, Gavin Rees held a belt. So out of the 4 divisions, 3 were British fighters. And it's just staggering to think none of them massive fights never happened. Because that would have been a pay-per-view all day. That would have been a Ben Eubank.
Yeah, they should have been. But Frank didn't want it. Ricky didn't want it. And that's why I've got to leave it, because as much as Gavin Rees, I think it was IBF world champion, good fighter.
Yeah.
I don't put him in my league.
Yeah.
Any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. He's a good fighter. I'm not saying he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
And he's not deserving of a world champion. I'm just saying he just wasn't on the level that I were at. Because I was elite world champion, not just a world champion.
Yeah, and I think Junior, I'll kind of stop you there, because there is some strong things. I've listened to it back, and it like there is really strong. But listen, it's your story. You have a right. You know, the clues in the name that you avoided, and I think, you know, there are a lot of fanboys out there who are only interested in the David A. Joe Calzaghe. But anyone who seriously knows the game of pugilism, the most noble art of all, will understand. And I mean, I've spoken to Alex Morrison on this, and I've watched Joe Calzaghe on YouTube, and they actually said Junior Witter was the better fighter, you know. But it's all going to come out in the boxing, you know. As a writer, what you said was exactly what I was after. And listen, I'm not slick. I was a huge Ricky Hatton fan. The guy, he had an unbelievable career, but it does, if I sit and think about it enough, like a lot of people, it can really piss you off that the fight never happened.
Yeah, it definitely can. Listen, I've never said Ricky Hatton is a good fighter. Yeah. He digs deep. He does the best with the ability he has got. He's got a good heart and he tries. Yeah, which is what you want out of a fighter. It's just that there's levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can put your Sunday team in with Arsenal.
Yeah.
And expect them to win.
Yeah, it's going to come for, as I said, you know, I've spoken to people in Talk Sport. It's going to get a lot of interest, certainly, and it should. You know, this was British boxing. Do you know what I mean? It should have been a much better era than it was. Fights where, you know, it wasn't just you. When you think and you sit and think about it, Wayne Alexander never fought some of the Williams. There was a lot of fights that should have happened, which today would have done, you know, and it's criminal thinking about it. But, you know, so the book, so the foreword's going to be written by Johnny Nelson. I dare say if Brendan, God rest him, would have still been here, I mean, he would have done it, and you were guided really by one of the best. I like studying a lot of the old school people, like your Mickey Duffs, Tommy Millers, and of course Brendan. You know, so you didn't have a bad you didn't have a bad mentor to tell you, Junior, do this, not do this.
Brendan was, without doubt, one of the best trainers and managers this country's ever had.
Yeah. And
as much as I know I got a good Brendan Ingle,
yeah,
I suppose if I'd have been there a couple of years before, it'd have been even better for me.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way the world works. You come across when you come across. But no.
I mean, you're talking about that kind of era when Johnny Nelson fought Leon, is it? Depon?
No, a little bit after that.
Bomber Grahams and that.
Yeah. You're talking about when Naz first came through. If I'd have came through a similar time to when Naz came through, yeah. If I'd have come through just a couple of years earlier than I did, say to turn pro 2005 instead of 2007,
yeah,
it would have been a different story. But because I came through when I came through, Naz was already world champion, Ryan was flying, British champion, and I got to see that and work through that in the gym, but I was at the back of the pack at that point, not the front.
Yeah.
If I'd have turned pro a couple of years earlier, I'd have been at the front of that head. I'd have been at the head with Naz, Ryan.
Yeah.
And Johnny.
But do you know what?
That's the way it
does. There's a lot of cracking tales in this from the English, and that's exactly what when I first, it took me a sec. I said, yeah, if there's as soon as a chance that I could work with you, I said, I want that book, and it's all the tales of among that famous Ingle gym. You know, so many people: Kid Galahad, Ishan Pickering, Kell Brook. You could go on and on and on if I sat and really thought about them. And even the people they weren't kind of widely known, they still were kind of part of that gym for a time being, like your Darren Sutherlands and your Billy Joe Saunders, and you know, there's been a lot of people even kind of went up and thought, it's not for me, and you know, but that was how widely thought of Brendan Ingle and his stable was. It made me laugh this week because obviously I'm doing a book after you on Mickey Duff, and he said I think he was the biggest critic of Brendan's, and he said Brendan Ingle fighters walk backwards to the ring. But it's everyone has a thing to say about him. And I've just spoke to Mickey Van, and he said, well, I preferred the old school, the kind of, he used you and Floyd Mayweather as an example and said that kind of came along. He said, I grew up in the 50s and the 60s, and boxing wasn't like that then, but it's all about longevity and being a bit smart, which of course that's how you and all that them fighters were.
Yeah. Crash Bang Wallop type fighters are really easy to understand. Yeah. But the problem with that is they take a lot of hammer, and it's not good for your health.
Yeah.
Skills are very important in boxing. You want to have a long life. You want to have a life after boxing. Boxing's not, that's it, after you're boxing you're dead.
Yeah.
You want to be able to spend time with your kids, spend time with your family, enjoy the success you've had, travel the world, do whatever you like to do. If it's go fishing, go fishing. But you want to be able to do that, and if you've taken too much hammer, the human body can only take so much before we have serious repercussions.
Yeah, I mean,
people are different. Yeah, look at the Juggernaut. The amount he can take is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that's not the majority of us.
No, I mean, I think I've never really seen a Brendan Ingle fighter boxing with his face. And Mickey Duff, there was a quote he said, I'm reading his book actually, and he said, the human body, the chin, is not designed to be punched by athletes, and I think that was your whole, orthodox South.
Ethos.
Yes.
That was Brendan's ethos. Yeah, I mean, the first thing is safety. Yeah. But within boxing, you are going to get hit, and we all accept you are going to get hit. Those who think they can just move around and not do anything, it's best stay to doing a pad session.
Yeah.
If you get in the ring, you're going to get hit.
So this book, listen, I'm glad you've holded on. I'm glad because you've had other offers, and it's all or nothing. There was nothing really you didn't really want to talk about. I mean, there was one thing which but other than, I mean, that wasn't even to do with boxing. There was a certain judge, but we won't go there. But you know what? It's like you have just from day one to a young kid growing up in Bradford, had it hard, 70s, 80s. Racist elements, even though it's in such a multicultural community, Bradford. I mean, I'm just doing the Nick Manners one. I'm just finishing at the minute, and he said Leeds was brutal, was horrific for the Nazi National Front and all this, and this is I mean, I didn't know this. I would personally say the world didn't know this about Junior Witter. Only your close friends know. So this story is going to come out. And yeah, listen, I'm going to keep you busy, but I'm glad it's going to come out. And there's a lot of people out there, Junior Witter. Oh, I don't like him, but why don't you like him? Because Ricky Hatton was Luke Skywalker and he was Darth Vader. You had to be like that, and you knew that early days, didn't you?
I did. I mean, I listened a lot to Brendan, and we did it that way because that was the only way we could really do it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there has to be, when you're looking at the media with how things work, there's a good side and a bad side. Yeah, it's very rare you get two fighters what everybody likes.
Yes.
Yeah. It don't happen. Yeah. You either from the good side and the bad side.
Well, it does very occasionally, and I mean, I remember watching Anthony Cruller against Ricky Burns, and I actually wanted them both to win. It's kind of boring that people want to see a Michael Gomez, the bad guy, against do you know what I mean? And I think that's what one of the quotes. I mean, I liked reading about philosophy and quotes, and one of the quotes always reminds me about you, Junior. It was a wrestler that said it, and he was called Scott Hall, and he's better known as, what was his name again, Razor Ramon, and he said, I was very good at playing the bad guy, and I think Junior Witter was.
Yeah, I definitely was.
Yeah.
It suits me in some respects because it allows you to be a little bit more mysterious. You don't have to tell as much to people.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to.
Yeah, you've already got the public's attention because they think they hate you and they can't stand you, and you're the pantomime baddie. Look, he's behind you, and you didn't mind that, did you?
No, it is what it is. I mean, I definitely could have done it more understanding of how the media works.
Yeah.
But you got to know your roles.
Yeah, well, listen, you're still in boxing, and you've got a group of young fighters, and I'm sure because of what's happened to you, you know, you can kind of start again. But I'll stop it there, mate, because I don't want to give too much of the book away. Junior Witter, The Avoided, written by myself, Jamie Boyle. The forward is going to be by none other than Johnny Nelson, former gym mate, Sky Sports face. And do you know what? I really, really am looking forward to, because of course I'm known for the true crime books, but I'm done. I've got as you completed boxing, I kind of completed that genre, if you like. In my head, I did anyway. You know, and I'm hoping this is going to. Well, it is going to be a lot of start of sporting books and all that. And for me, Junior Witter was one I was really interested in because I've done a few books that I've thought I shouldn't have done this. Do you know what I mean? So, Junior, I just want to say a big thank you, mate. Listen, always a pleasure. Enjoy your weekend. I'll give the last word to you.
Keep looking. It's going to be an interesting read. I mean, I'm still here. I'm still in the game. I've got champions coming through. I had my first national champion last weekend, and I've got more talent coming through. So keep your eyes open.
So if anyone wants to follow the Books Project, there's a Facebook page called The Avoided Junior Witter. Junior is on Twitter. Let me think. So he's on Instagram. Give me a name of your Facebook pages.
Facebook. Junior Witter.
Yeah, and you've got Witter Boxing Club.
And Witter's Boxing Club, yeah.
Right.
Switch it to Customs.
So, because you are training people, so if anyone wants to get in touch with Junior regarding anything, maybe go to train or whatever, very approachable, all ears, and big thank you, Junior. I'll speak soon. God bless.